What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. As always, joined by your host, myself, Alex Fischbein. We got Mike Bash and Dennis Clausen. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on? Not much.
What it is?
just chilling.
Okay. How's life going? It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, good. Everything's good.
Take it forever.
Went to the Devils game yesterday, I guess. Rutgers is playing well, so and the Nets are playing well. We're starting to rebound post KD injury, so everything in the sports world is going all right. Even though Alex's Eagles did get the best of my Giants. I know you're a Ravens fan. Never mind.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not an Eagles fan. My family is, so I am cheering for them right now. But they are not my number one team.
Mike,
it would be nice.
Birds apart.
What? I can't tell my birds apart.
No.
Yep. Dennis's Bengals are looking good, though.
Dennis is a front runner.
That is absolutely not. That's 0% true.
I was going to say, if you're a Bengals fan for more than just Joe Burrow, then definitely not a front runner.
I go back so far. So, I'm a little older than you guys, but when the ticket first came out, the Sunday ticket, it was only for people who had direct TV. So in order for me to watch Bengals games, I had to go to my buddy's crappy trailer and watch, John Kitna throw interceptions and Achilles Smith, and there are a lot of bad years. So I'm enjoying this right now, for sure.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, like I said, through the years that I've been a Ravens fan, all I know is the Bengals and the Browns have had 99% bad seasons. So it's a little bit of a difference for once. And Muhammad says hi. What's going on, Muhammad? Glad you have you back on watching the show, supporting. Always happy.
Does Muhammad like American football?
I don't know. We'll see. So I know he's a Golden State fan, so maybe he likes one of the California teams. I'm not sure. We'll see. Let us know, Muhammad. Let us know in the comments.
He's probably a 49ers fan.
I could see it. I mean, I will say yesterday's games were super boring. I mean,
what?
I'm not a Bengals fan, so that's part of it. But, it was pretty boring to me, both of those games. Especially after how good the wild card weekend games were.
I mean, but the thing is in Buffalo, I'm only 2 hours from Buffalo, so what they were getting hit with, we got hit with. Mm-hmm. So the weather was crappy, and that was a sloppy game, but the Bengals passing attack, and Joe Mixon really took over. Joe Mixon hadn't ran for 100 yards since early November, the day he had 5 touchdowns against the Panthers.
Oh, so I forgot about that game.
He had kind of fizzled. Yeah, he kind of fizzled the last couple of weeks against Baltimore. Wasn't really that much involved. Burrow had been struggling against Baltimore, but now that they're back, they went up against Buffalo, and despite the wintry weather conditions, they were able to get the passing game going. Jamar Chase would have had 2 touchdowns. They not called it back, the second one, which was a load of crap, but yeah, the Bengals are the real deal. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, with Patrick Mahomes and his high ankle sprain, which is never easy. But I think they might. I don't trust anything that they're releasing in terms of an injury update. I mean, he may be hobbled. But I feel like they may be making it sound worse than it is, so that you know what I mean. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, Chad Henne's a beast.
Chad Henne has got to be 37 years old now?
He's got to be up there. He's been around forever, it feels like. Are you fact checking?
It's Yeah, I'll look into it. Hold on. He is 30. Yep, he's 37. Wow. Mike Bastradamus strikes again.
Oh boy.
I want to be proud that you knew how old Chad Henne was.
I was gonna say, I don't know if that's something to brag about or not, but I mean, I'll give it to you. You got it right.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Bengals are 3-0 against the Chiefs in the last 2 seasons. The Bengals are 3-0. Burrow in those games he's averaging 2.7 touchdowns a game and over 300 passing yards in each of those games. He has 8 touchdowns in those 3 games and only 1 interception. So hopefully he can keep it up and keep going. And of course, Jamar Chase is looking fantastic. He had double-digit targets in the last 5 games entering Sunday's game in Buffalo, even though he had 8 against Buffalo. But we'll take it.
Very true, very true. Yeah, I mean, as someone who grew up with a family full of diehard Eagles fans, I'm glad to see Dallas lose every time. That's always fun.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fuck Dallas.
There's either.
Did you guys see Stephen A. Smith earlier today on Get Up or whatever show he hosts now?
Oh no, I wanted to, but I haven't seen it.
He was teasing the hell out of Michael Irvin.
Oh god.
He was sitting there with a cigar, like fake smoking a cigar the whole episode or the whole segment.
Good old Steve.
Well, you got to think that the Cowboys with. I think it's time for Dak to go. They looked actually better when they had Cooper Rush playing. I don't understand why Amari Cooper got dealt to Cleveland last offseason. Zeke isn't nearly as impactful as he was. Tony Pollard now has a broken tibia or fibia. I forget which one he broke, but he broke something and he needs surgery. Yeah. So he was obviously their best back, and they need to make it a priority to make sure he gets healthy and that he stays in Dallas. And honestly, I'd be looking for a new quarterback. And they talk about Aaron Rodgers on the trade block. I would strongly try to see what Aaron Rodgers is doing, Derek Carr is doing, just anybody to get Dak Prescott out of there.
Yeah, I mean,
they won't.
The days of people calling Dak Prescott elite or anything should be long gone.
Yeah, but these Cowboys fans are delusional, though. They said, no, it's not Dak's fault.
Oh, I know.
Not coaching.
Even though he led the league in interceptions since week 9 or 10 or whenever he returned. He had the most interceptions out of everybody.
Matthew Stafford got hurt.
Well, yeah, true. Stafford's always up there. Muhammad said he does not watch football, by the way. He only likes basketball. So
that's already Muhammad.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, let's jump into some basketball here. Since we're talking about Stephen A., the other person I wanted to see that I haven't seen any clips of yet was Shannon Sharpe. So, whoever's watched it probably was super entertaining. His show with Skip Bayless, because, of course, Skip being the Cowboys fan, and then Shannon having the big run-in with the Memphis Grizzlies after he was talking shit to Dillon Brooks. Then Steven Adams came over. Then the whole Grizzlies team wanted to come over and say something, and Shannon Sharpe was escorted out. I don't... Did it ever report what Shannon even said or what even started the whole thing? Because I never saw it. What
he said something about Dillon Brooks not being able to guard LeBron. And then Dillon Brooks said something to him, and he was like, get over here. Like, you don't want this or something like that. I don't know. It was insanity.
You don't want this smoke.
Yeah.
I mean, Dillon Brooks doesn't. When did Dillon Brooks become this, fake tough guy kind of person?
I don't know. Apparently people think he's a good defender and he's tough. Somehow that started happening. I don't know. When that started happening, but that started getting floating around recently.
Yeah, and the moments he's talked shit and everything were on, like against the Golden State Warriors. That was the most of the times that he talked shit. And then Clay hits that shot in his face and celebrates in his face and everything like that. And Golden State has beaten him like pretty much every time that they've talked shit and like started beef and everything like that before games and during games. So like, the only person on Memphis that I would be scared of is Steven Adams. The rest of them are not scary whatsoever. Exactly. Steven Adams is just humongous, and a guy that big that played rugby and everything in New Zealand, like, yeah, I'm not going to fuck with somebody like that. But everyone else, they're just big tough.
I mean, Brandon Clark may be tough.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Santi Aldama's tough. I don't think Brandon Bean's tough. I don't think Tyus Jones is tough. I don't think John Moran is tough. John Conchar, I don't think he's tough. Zaire Williams. So basically, their entire team's not tough.
No, not at all. And they don't have Zebo anymore because Zebo was a guy to be scared of.
Junkyard Dog.
Yeah.
My whole thing recently with fans, okay, I know Shannon Sharpe is not an average fan. He's a ex-NFL player and, you know, a great football player when he's playing and stuff like that. But since when aren't people on the sidelines or in the stands allowed to say something? Like, they can't say anything anymore without these players getting hurt, or, you know, butt hurt, and they're throwing a fit about it. Like, you can't say anything anymore without somebody coming over, pointing to a guy in the crowd, and then they get rid of him. I mean, it's absolute. And why are we engaging the fans? Like, I know Shannon Sharpe is Shannon Sharpe. Like, I get it, he's a celebrity, but he's saying something, and you're gonna like challenge him to, and Shannon Sharpe was the guy who's like, bring it on if you want. But you want to know something? Let security handle that. You don't have to. For one, you're gonna get. He knows he can't kick Shannon Sharpe's ass anyways. Shannon Sharpe still at his age mopped the floor with him.
Oh hell yeah! He's still in great shape and he's huge.
Right, he's a monster. So if Dillon Brooks for a second, you know, he's trying to save face, so he acts all tough, but he knew people were going to intervene. He didn't want any of that. You kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
He didn't want that.
Well, none of that.
No, not at all. That's why Steven Adams had to come over and say something, because you know damn well Dillon Brooks wasn't going to do anything. Steven Adams at least matches up with him. I mean, bigger height-wise, probably around the same weight and everything like that, so that actually carries some weight if Steven Adams comes over and does something about it. But Dillon Brooks, there's no way in hell he's doing anything.
But that would be a fight people would actually want to see, though.
Right.
Like Steven Adams and but, you know, like, that would have been a good time, like, for Shannon Sharpe to just, like, look past Dillon Brooks and go, yo, whose man's is this?
Mm-hmm.
Get him out of here, because he's playing right now. He doesn't know what he's doing.
He would have
Your
been
boy's a
real
fool. You better
mad.
check him. Yeah, whose man is this? Because he's tripping right now. This guy's a moron.
He should have done the Russell Westbrook thing when that one random Sixers fan flipped him off, when he's just like looking at everyone like, who the fuck is this guy?
Right. Like, and even if Russell Westbrook was gonna, I would want to see Westbrook and Shannon Sharpe throw down.
Oh yeah, Westbrook is a guy I'd be more scared of than Dillon Brooks. I would be more scared of Patrick Beverley than Dillon Brooks, and Patrick Beverley is nowhere near the size.
I would be more scared of Utah Watanabe than I would be of Dillon Brooks.
Agreed. I bet even like Furkan Korkmaz could put a better fight up. Oh God.
What were you laughing at?
What you just said.
Oh, because we were all talking at the same time. My karate comment.
Yeah, the karate comment was funny. No, what I was saying was
Furkan
Korkmaz could probably put up a bigger fight.
Yeah, anybody. Dillon Brooks. Like,
I know.
can we stop pretending he's a tough guy just because he can push somebody and break their arm?
Yeah, exactly. And then even
Gary Payton II would still mop the floor with him.
Agreed. And the Grizzlies just like to start shit with everybody. Apparently, there was the whole thing with the Lakers where LeBron was like this ends here. You're not disrespecting me anymore. And John Morant was trying to be like, chill, Bron, chill. And he's like, no, fuck that. Like, you're not disrespecting me anymore. And like, he was getting in their face, and they weren't going to do anything to LeBron either. If you're not doing anything to LeBron, you're not doing anything to Shannon Sharpe.
No.
So yeah, there's just a bunch of fake tough guys.
Chill, Bron, like they're boys.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, these players, man, like they and for one, the Grizzlies better chill out because I mean they're the supposed best team in the Western Conference, but Morant is one tweak away from a torn hamstring that's going to put him out of the playoffs or for 6 weeks or whatever. So I would chill because without him, that team is nothing. As evident by how well they played against the Warriors last season in the Western Conference Finals. So let's chill.
Yep. Completely. I mean, and you look at like Denver's still up there. They're just staying quiet, doing their own thing, playing really well. Jamal Murray had some good games recently. And then you have, believe it or not, the Clippers are starting to win some games finally because Kawhi Leonard's playing more. And then
won't last.
Probably not. The Lakers have started to win a few games too. They're starting to creep up above 500, and Anthony Davis should be back within a few weeks probably. And then
that won't last.
Also debatable. And then I mean you still have other teams up there for the running that could easily take Memphis out in the playoffs. So like they can talk all the shit they want, but I still don't see them as like a heavy favorite to even make the Western Conference Finals, let alone the finals. So
I mean, I know the Warriors aren't the best team this year, but the Warriors now they have Wiggins back, Clay's kind of back, Steph is back, so they're starting to get that nucleus back together. And I mean, they lost to Brooklyn, but I feel like they're starting to maybe. I have this feeling post All-Star game that the Warriors are going to make a strong run and get back right into the postseason conversation. And if the Warriors get into the postseason, that's not a team you want to see in the postseason. I can guarantee
Dennis
that.
is really going out on a limb here with the defending champs, a team that's won 4 championships together. They're going to figure it out. You're really going on a limb there, Dennis.
You didn't say anything about it.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's an obvious take. Obvious, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and co. will figure it out.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's that obvious just because they are the 10th seed right now. They're only 23 and 24, which is pretty terrible in their own terms, at least.
And they're horrible.
But I will say, up there is still the Kings, who can easily compete with the Grizzlies. I think the Kings can match up pretty well with them, especially when you have Sabonis playing as well as he is. Fox is playing as well as he is.
I was going on a limb with that one, though, right?
Yeah, I always give you credit for that one. You did say the Kings are going to be right there in the playoff race this year in the preseason, so that one was a good call. And then there also is the Mavericks that are up there too. They're right in the middle of the pack. The Pelicans are slipping now because obviously Zion and Ingram are still hurt. If they get healthy, which is a big if, they could definitely cause some noise. So
yeah, but I feel like we've been saying that every year about the Pelicans. They are never healthy. Brandon Ingram is on the top 10 list of street clothes right now. This dude is always hurt.
Top 5.
Zion's in the top 5 too because that dude's always hurt too. Great player when he plays. He looked awesome when he was playing. Just never healthy.
True. Yeah, no, I agree. So that being said, yeah, the whole Shannon Sharpe thing I thought it was all funny, but I think it was a worse look for the Grizzlies than it was for Shannon Sharpe.
And Morant's dad is annoying.
You mean Usher?
Yeah, he does look exactly like Usher.
He looks like an old Usher.
I never thought I'd say this, but I think Ja Morant's dad is starting to hit more annoying levels than
LeVar Ball.
LeVar Ball. LeVar Ball, you haven't even, like, LeVar Ball hasn't said anything for, like, a couple years now.
I mean, what's he going to say? Is he going to talk about Lonzo? No. Is he going to talk about LaMelo? No. Is he going to talk about
he could have talked about
No.
LaMelo last year.
I mean, last year, but what is he going to... He didn't have time to even say anything this year. LaMelo Ball's probably played about 3 quarters the entire season. So he's not, third stint with a sprained ankle. The guy, I don't know what his left ankle is made of, but somebody better check on that because he keeps tweaking that thing.
Well, I will say the first 2 tweaks looked like his ankle was just weak. This last time that he tweaked it, when the guy just landed right on his ankle, I think it was PJ Washington, just landed right on it. I was like, oh, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, but come on.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely worrisome that it's the same ankle 3 times. Like at one point you just gotta say to yourself, all right, let me get some ankle braces. Like Steph Curry did it. His ankles were glass for the first couple years, and then he got some the sturdiest of the sturdy ankle braces.
Well, that, and I think like our Under Armour made like a shoe designed to stabilize his ankle.
True.
I mean, why doesn't everybody get that then?
Exactly. And on top of that, like, remember when the Ball brothers revealed like their own shoe and everything? Why not make that for your next shoe? Like
the 2 balls. That's like me going into the Chinese buffet without a bib. Like, I know I'm going to spill something on me.
Exactly. You want to be prepared.
Dennis, what is wrong with you?
But so
Mike trying to keep his eyes open over there.
I know.
Well, it's his one eye that I.
Let's move on to the other big news that happened. So, just earlier today, Rui Hachimura was traded to the Lakers for none and 3 second-round picks. So,
what I think happened here is that the Lakers were told from scouts that in the East there was a Japanese sharpshooter, and they confused Rui Hachimura with Yuta Watanabe, or vice versa, because they got the wrong Japanese guy.
Well, he's half black, so maybe that's what does it.
So he's like Naomi Osaka?
Yes. Whatever happened to her?
She got pregnant.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like, I haven't heard anything about her competing or anything.
And I didn't mean that in a
But that makes
racist
sense.
way.
Dennis, we all know how you feel.
Was she a tennis girl?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Roy's not even that bad. He's averaging 13 and 6 on 46% free throw shoot. I mean, he can't really shoot. Oh wait, I'm looking at
46% free throw.
I feel low. I was looking at his rookie year. I was looking at his rookie year. He's at 49, 34, and 76. Like, he's shooting okay. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
talk
it's
about how
decent
many
for the
games he's missed over the last 3 seasons.
oh, here goes Dennis again. Yeah, hold on. Alex, let me talk to you real quick.
Okay.
Me and Dennis were talking earlier about the whole Clint Capella trade.
Okay.
And his whole defense in Clint Capella is he mistook Clint Capella for Thomas Bryant.
Hey, they
Who
look
did?
the same.
Dennis did or Doug did?
Dennis. Well,
Oh.
Doug probably thought Clint Capella was some like Nigerian warlord, and he didn't play basketball anymore because that guy doesn't know a thing. But Dennis goes, "Oh, well, he tore his Achilles last year. He hasn't played. He's played 4 games in the last 3 years." Not the case.
Hold up. All right, hold up. Time out. All right. If there's one thing I know, it's my injuries, okay? With that said, there is a strong resemblance between Thomas Bryant and Clint Capella. Am I wrong?
And maybe in terms of looks, not in terms of career path.
I'm talking just they are similar builds, kind of. And maybe Capella's a little chubbier. You know,
Capella has that one blonde spot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
With that said, I did say to Mike, I said he didn't play last year, the year before he tore his Achilles, and I said that, and immediately, like it took me 5 seconds, I said, "Wait a second, that was Thomas Bryant."
Right.
So let's not act like I said so. But the bottom line is he's hurt all the time, and the same thing could be said for Rui Hachimura. You know, good player and all, but he's like, I'm still waiting for him to like finally show up to the party, and I feel like we've been waiting on that for a lot of years. I mean, for the one, the guy couldn't even speak English when he came to the country. 2, he played 2-3 years in college, and then he comes to the NBA. He's on his 4th season. Everybody's treating him like he's still this young budding next superstar, and it's I'm like, I'm waiting for this to happen anytime. But he missed half this season because he just is depressed or whatever.
I think Dennis has blackmail on his brother-in-law, and that's why Dennis just keeps getting free players from him because, there's some incriminating evidence that Dennis has that he keeps holding over his head.
Ever since the preseason before Rui's 2nd season in the league, I have heard this is going to be his breakout year. And it's now his 4th year. I hung on to him in our Dynasty League for a while, too, because I thought he was showing some signs when he played some international. He was showing some... Tommy Stacks. I kind of finagled a really good trade to Tommy Stacks for Hachimura. I ended up getting Zubats and a 1st-round pick for Hachimura, Reddish, and a 2nd-round pick. I made out like a bandit in that trade.
You don't say shit to him, though, about that deal. The minute I make a deal, he's all over my nuts.
That is true.
But you want to know something? Who's has the most points in the league by 500 points? This guy.
Well, who's in 1st place? This guy.
That doesn't mean anything. You know, as soon as we play again, or if I meet you in the playoffs or wherever we meet, I'm spanking that fucking ass.
And also, you're only 1 game ahead of 3 people. There's 3 people tied at 11-3 right now.
I know.
You could go from 1st to 4th real quick.
Started from the top, now we're here.
And I will say, Aaron's a pretty surprise upstart team. He's at 10-4 right now. He's a little bit of a dark horse. That's a good call to his username.
That's right. That's what I said.
What's his username?
Of course,
it's Aaron fucking
Oh.
sucks.
No.
Of course, he won't trade anybody.
Because Dennis was having like a panic attack and couldn't figure. His name was Waffle Fries and couldn't figure out who was who. So I went around to everyone's like, "Can you make your name like something that Dennis can figure out?"
Well, how am I supposed to message people if I don't know who they are?
Also, I want to just bring up the fact that Jonathan Isaac has 4 points already.
I mean, let's predict. How many games does he actually play this season?
20.
17.
Yeah, I was going to say somewhere between 15 and 20. And the thing is, I've loved Jonathan Isaac's potential and his play style and his skill set. But, damn, I just wish he would stay healthy for once. He could be so good.
I'm so sick of the word potential. I've had enough of it.
Well, that's every trade Doug makes with anyone is based on potential that never gets realized. This guy probably has the worst portfolio in the history of investing because he probably just buys every goddamn penny stock with untapped potential. Nobody in Syracuse is going to retire because none of them, they all bank on potential.
I don't. I got Harrison Barnes.
True.
Is that going to help you retire?
I'm about guys who produce.
Dennis
I don't
is the
care about
opposite of potential. He doesn't care about any guy under the age of 25.
I want production. That's what I want.
But I will say, Doug did hit on Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler has been looking pretty damn good lately.
Yeah, what did Dennis give up? Donovan Mitchell?
The fake Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, he threw an imposter at me.
Donovan Mitchell's doppelganger.
But how was I supposed to know that you had two D Mitchells on your team?
I mean, it is a coincidence that I had both.
So you got Davion. So you gave up Davion Mitchell, Gogo Batadze, Walker Kessler, and 4 second-round picks for Boyan, Payne, Barrett, and 2/3. Like, what? Oh, okay. That one's not a bad trade.
Oh, now, but at the time you were saying stuff about it. So, anyways, yeah, Kendrick Dunn's a bum. He hasn't been good in forever. He missed a year because of a bruise in his knee. His best days were in Miami. He doesn't offer anything. He's not going to do anything in Washington. They got Monty Morris there. They got Goodwin. He's not doing nothing. They should just send him to the G League or something.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be like the shooter. And this year he's played 39 games, 13.5 minutes per game. He's only shooting 32.5% from 3, 40% from the field. And he's at 6.7 points a game and 1.4 rebounds a game. Like, he's essentially just a nothing. And he's only 27. So, like, I mean, it's not looking good.
That's potential, though. That's potential.
Yeah, exactly. I will say for Rui, he's 24 right now. I don't think he's going to get that much better. I think he can grow a little, but I don't think he's going to get that much better. Last year was his best shooting year by far. I mean, 49% from the field, 44.7% from 3. And then back to this year.
But that was in the 3 games he played.
Exactly. He literally played 42 games all of last season. And part of the reason he didn't even play was just personal reasons. Because that was when I still had him on my team. He just wasn't. He didn't come back to the U.S. He was still in Japan for like the first 2 months of the season, or something like that. So that happened. Do I think this is a good trade for the Lakers? Yes, because Nunn isn't contributing anything. Hachimura will be good, especially while Anthony Davis is hurt. He's probably going to get hurt again. So
I mean, he's an upgrade from Wendy and Gabriel, crying out loud.
True. The only issue is, will Hachimura then get hurt when Anthony Davis is hurt because he's playing more minutes? Then you're back to square one as the Lakers with no second-round picks.
I mean, maybe they'll collide into each other and just both get hurt.
They'll be like the Bash Brothers.
Yeah, they go knee to knee, and then they both out with a knee bruise.
Hey, that happened to Tre'Davious White and Jordan Poyer, both banged heads and out of the game.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, overall, the
stop
Lakers...
the mighty T. Higgins from getting a bomb.
Overall, I will say the Lakers won the trade. The second-round picks, they might make something out of one of those, but it won't be like the chances they get a Nikola Jokic out of those second-round picks is slim to none. So it's not really anything to write home about. So that being said, let's. Oh, go ahead. Were you gonna say something?
I'm always gonna say something, but no, go ahead.
I just wanted to move on to one of Dennis's boys. God. Dejounte Murray was on a podcast. I think it was the All the Smoke.
Am I doing trying to do a sign?
He was talking about his time with the Spurs, and he talked about how they treated him differently than a lot of the people they had there. They didn't expect him to become as good as he was. Tony Parker apparently got really upset that he finally got better than him and went to take his starting job. And Parker was salty enough to demand a trade. He got out of there to Charlotte. And he was just kind of like, he knew Tony Parker was upset, and he said if he was cool with it, he would have stayed and mentored me like they wanted him to. So obviously that didn't happen, and essentially it sounded like he was glad he got out of there because they didn't support him in the way that he wished they did. So I don't know. What do you think, Dennis?
I could see it. There was always Pop doesn't have the best history of having great relationships with the guys he outside of Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, his boys that he loves, those guys. If you're like a little edgy, or if you're a little like not like if you're out partying, or if you go to a club, or if you just you're a kid, you want to do this stuff. And when he came into San Antonio, he was a kid. If you don't conform to what Pop wants to do, it's either Pop's way or no way. So
if you're not a robot.
Basically, if you don't fall in line with what he's doing, he's going to get rid of you.
Right.
There are some guys who just don't have a lot of good things to say about Tony Parker. And so you can kind of believe that, Murray's onto something. I was kind of surprised that, like, he loves Kawhi Leonard, and Kawhi Leonard's a big, according to Murray, a big reason why he's so good defensively. I was also surprised when he said that Kawhi Leonard spends a lot of time in the gym, which is maybe that's why he's hurt all the time. I have no idea. But if that's the case, he needs to lay off of being in the gym and then relax. And, but whenever you get into an area where Steven Jackson is, who has not said anything good about anybody from the Spurs, really, except for Manu Ginobili, who I don't think I've ever heard one person say anything bad about Manu Ginobili.
I haven't either.
I can't find anybody. Tony Parker, on the other hand, are people who, say a little bitch or whatever they're saying. I don't know. I'm just, paraphrasing what people might think. But, I mean, I could see that. But, Pop doesn't. I think Pop is way past his time at this point. I think he just doesn't understand the concept of how this younger generation of guys are, we're in the TikTok generation, we're in the Instagram generation, where it's not all about, and Murray came out and said, hey, I'm in the gym, man. You didn't play me, and I'm getting in the gym. So it sounded like he was doing everything he wanted to do, in which they acknowledged that. So they gave him extra, more playing time. They ended up giving him the starting job. Tony Parker, if that is 110% true, that he didn't want anything to do with being a mentor, even though he had been in the starting job for about 800 years, then shame on Tony Parker. You know what I mean? But there are guys over the years who've played for Pop. Rodman. I was reading something about Vernon Maxwell. They popped him like he was out in the club. Kawhi Leonard, we all know about him. So I don't know. This kind of like reinforces a little bit, because before you used to say Kawhi's being an issue and blah, blah, blah. But now it kind of makes people doubt, like, maybe Kawhi wasn't the problem. Maybe Kawhi's been right all along. But I feel like kind of Pop is maybe a little snaky, a little two-faced. There's rumors that he was the one who called the players-only meeting about Kawhi sitting out, even though Kawhi said he was hurt, but there were doubts whether he was actually hurt. And supposedly Pop called the players-only meeting, which even pissed Kawhi off even more. So, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting. But it's because of Pop's. If this is the case, because Pop's ego and his inability to conform and adjust to other guys of who don't fit into his mold on what kind of people he expects his players to be. He's missing out on a guy who's great defensively, who's great offensively. He's just a menace. And I said it before. I said Murray's a top 10 player in the league, and I still believe that. I think he's a fantastic player.
I agree. Mike, do you have any input on that?
Yeah, I thought that interview was pretty interesting. Like you would think like Tony Parker at that point when Dejounte Murray came in, like being in that Spurs organization and system, you'd think it's all about like, all right, like we're gonna do what's right for the team, and Tony Parker would realize like I'm on my last legs, and the fact that Tony Parker was like, no, I've been here for 12 years.
What?
What is that?
Oh, there's a fire truck going down the street.
Somebody's house burned down?
I don't know.
Go ahead,
Not in my
son.
neighborhood, at least.
But so you think like it'd be like a more like, all right, like we're gonna transition to the next guy kind of thing, and Tony Parker was like, nah, this is my team. Like either play me or get me out of here. So it's interesting to hear that. But like, yeah, I kind of agree with Dennis. But like, Pop and Dennis are probably best friends. Like they would hang out and like they hate the new generation of people. They hate people under the age of 25. So I don't think Dejounte Murray was wrong. I think he has respect for the organization and like guys like Pop and whatever. But like he also felt like, listen, like I'm a star player. Like let's get on my back and we'll go as far as they'll take us. And they never got that opportunity like fully until last year before they traded him.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think, like you just said, I think all these players that, might talk shit about the Spurs or Pop or whoever, I think they still have respect for Pop and everything in a basketball sense, because there's no denying that Pop is one of the smartest and best basketball coaches to come through the league. Was he graced with some of the best players on top of that? Yes, but nobody's going to sit there and say like Popovich doesn't know what he's talking about. But to Dennis's point, there isn't still a responsibility of a coach to connect with your players a little more, to understand that not every player is going to be a robot like Tony Parker, Manu, and Tim Duncan. Like, not every player is just going to be like, here's the system. Okay, I'm going to fit into the system, and I'm never going to say anything. I'm never going to express myself, and I'm never going to put my own little flair on anything. Like, you just can't expect that all the time. Like, superstars today aren't all going to be like Kobe Bryant. They're not all going to be guys that are in the gym 24/7, 365. They're going to look like some of the guys that, like Kyrie Irving, that might be a little different and speak his own truths and his own way of things and have his own personality, but still be one of the best players on the court. There's going to be guys.
Please don't compare him to Kyrie Irving.
Well, no. I'm just saying that like superstars will all have some of their different egos, personalities, ways they do things. Like Allen Iverson did things completely different than LeBron James. Carmelo Anthony did things completely different than, say, like Ray Allen. Like, everyone's going to have a different thing. The Spurs had a lot of superstars line up for Popovich that fit exactly how Popovich wanted to, like, run the system. Like, I mean, you had David Robinson, who came right out of the military. He's used to being in a system, and he's going to follow that system to a T. So that was your first building block right there. And then you get Tim Duncan, and then you get Tony Parker, who in the European game, it's a system. Same thing with Manu Ginobili. But got the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they're going to get theirs, and then the rest of the guys are going to be a little bit of a system because that's what role players have to do. Like, the Golden State Warriors are I wouldn't call them a system. I would just call them, they have two of the best shooting players to ever grace the NBA, and then they gel well, and they run a very good offense. Like,
well, they have a system that works for them that's built on. So it is a system, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, like, look at some of the guys that Pop hasn't liked over the years, or had issues with. Kawhi, where's Kawhi from? Compton?
I think so, yeah.
He's from Los Angeles. Murray, he's made it known he's from the hood. Steven Jackson. I mean, these are guys who, they probably didn't have two nickels to rub together growing up.
Right.
They had no, and I don't know this, but I'm just assuming that like there may be some of these guys who just didn't have a good upbringing and things like that, and because they don't have as good of a direction as Tony Parker does, who Tony Parker looks like the guy in school who got beat up for raising his hand and going to the hey, you gonna collect the homework tonight? Like, I feel like that's the kind of guy he is. And I don't know that for a fact, but I could see that for sure. So for a guy who's supposed to be, so diverse into diverse things, and I'm not getting political or anything, but he certainly doesn't connect with some guys who aren't at that level in terms of adhering to whatever he wants. I mean, look at Josh Primo.
True.
Yeah, he was playing like garbage and shooting like garbage and stuff like that. The guy gets accused of sexual misconduct or sexual assault, and then it turns out later that it's all dropped. But guess who doesn't have a job right now? Josh Primo.
Yep.
Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of exactly what happened or why it was dropped. Maybe it did happen, and there's some, technical jargon or legal jargon that forced it to not make its way, advance to a higher level. But, supposedly, what would happen in the case that he didn't do what he was accused of? Because basically it's his word against his. As soon as the accusations came out, without even thinking twice about it, he was off the team.
Yep.
Now, if you had thrown him off the team and said his shooting sucked, he wasn't progressing, blah, 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 like, I get it, okay? But the minute that accusation comes out, it doesn't even go through, like, court, doesn't even, he doesn't even get a chance to defend himself, and he's off the team. Like, you would think Pop would be a guy, of all people, who would say, I'm going to stick up for this guy, at least for now, until the whole entire process plays out, which means it's going to go to court. We're going to interview people. We're going to do our own investigation. We're going to hire people, blah, blah, blah. But that wasn't done. He just got rid of him. So he's no Phil Jackson, man. That's all I got to say.
On top of that, Primo put out that whole thing that he was leaving the team because of his mental health and everything. So that made it look like the team wasn't just waving him and letting him go, which like covered more for the team, which I feel like there was things going on behind the scenes there that like you said, the team definitely just said like, all right, we're not dealing with all this drama, goodbye, instead of like getting him the help he needed while he was still in the team and still could make some money, which would help him get the help he needs and things like that. Because definitely like therapy and all that stuff ain't cheap. And it's especially good therapy, like that's not going to help him to not have a job anymore.
I mean, he was seeing a therapist,
right?
The one that accused him of,
Well, yeah, that's true. It's true.
So I mean, obviously, he's not like in his right mind, but that's my whole entire like in branch off. Like people who do this kind of stuff are pieces of shit. All right, if you're a child molester, if you if you assault women, or if you're a woman who assaults men, because there's some tough women out there who, God knows I've been groped on more than one occasion. But but the whole process, though, if you were arrested for a crime, right? So if you're arrested for a crime and you are, charged with kiddie porn or whatever fucking is going on these days, immediately you're blasted on the front pages of paper.
Right.
How many times has something happened to where somebody's not, guilty? That's all I'm saying is like, you got to let the process pay out,
right.
and then if it turns out that they are guilty of sexual assault or whatever, then, throw them off a cliff because they're no good to anybody.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Dennis, I don't think you've ever been groped.
No, Whatever you want to believe, pal.
What were those words? You couldn't spit it out?
I mean, he's
whatever
had
you
to
wanna
been at least
believe.
groped once if he has a kid.
That's true.
But that one's just consensual.
I think.
Right. I mean, who knows? Maybe it was...
I think I was sleeping when it happened.
I could see it. But no, I agree that I think at this point in the game, like, I don't deny how good of a coach Popovich is, but I feel like this whole rebuilding process after Kawhi and everybody left has just been nonstop. And I feel like the team hasn't gotten anywhere. If anything, it's regressed. So, like, what are we doing here? Like, why? Like, it feels like Popovich is kind of just treading water. I mean, Dejounte Murray was the best player on that team by far. He wants to get out of there. He gets out, goes to Atlanta. He's having one of the best shooting seasons of his career now, especially from three. Still putting up around the same numbers he was the year before, minus the assists because he's not the main point guard anymore because Trae Young's there. Keldon Johnson has just been very inconsistent forever, it feels like. Devin Vassell, I mean, has been decent, but again, he's been hurt a lot this year.
I just traded for that guy.
I mean, hopefully he gets healthy. Jakob Poeltl, another guy that's just been inconsistent a lot. Trey Jones, I guess he's getting a little bit better because now he's finally the starting point guard. But like, Pop did his best work when he had international guys who are all used to being in a team-centric system. The moment he started not getting those type of guys, the team hasn't been the same. So,
And he's not even the best Jones brother.
true. So, like, now with DeJounte saying all this and the stuff about Tony Parker, I would kind of believe that. I mean, Tony Parker has not seemed like the buddy mentor, nice guy kind of type. Manu or Duncan, I would have believed would be that kind of type. But Tony Parker doesn't seem that kind of way.
Well, Tim Duncan probably didn't say a thing to anybody. He probably just came in the locker room and just read books all day. I mean, you got Manu catching a bat for crying out loud.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that tells you all you need to know. But then, Pop's coming out after Kawhi leaves. He's saying something about his leadership and all that. Okay, whatever, Pop. Like, yeah, I get it. Kawhi's a pain in the ass, but I mean, the fucking dude it's good when he plays.
Yeah. I mean, he went to Toronto and won them a championship in one season.
And he's the reason why Pop has championships. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, his defense on LeBron in the one finals was amazing. Like, he's part of the reason Pop is up there for most championships for a coach, by far. But so, moving away from that, we'll go to another older ex-coach. I sent part of this into the group chat the other day. Stan Van Gundy was talking about medicine and players' health today and everything, and Kevin Durant was like, Stan's spitting, and he was like, I don't know what that means.
And I don't blame him because I had no idea what the hell that means either.
Oh yeah, it just means like you're spitting facts, like you're speaking facts.
Yeah, but when you say somebody's spitting, you're like that. Like I would take it as somebody spitting, and that's never good.
No, but he tweeted it, so that's why you wouldn't know if you're actually spitting. But anyway, that being said,
I have no idea.
Stan Van Gundy talked about how, like, with the advancements in health and medicine and everything, why does it seem like players are getting worse in terms of health? Why are they out with smaller injuries these days? Why, especially when in the older days, guys would have, bum ankles, whatever it may be, they would still play upwards of at least 70 games. And now guys aren't really playing through anything. Sometimes they're just out for little bruises, like you and I we were talking about Kendrick Nunn being out with a knee bruise for like almost a whole season. So like I have to agree with Stan Van Gundy. I'm not a get off my lawn type of guy, but
Dennis is.
but like it's true for every sport. We're supposed to be so advanced in all of this sports science and health and medicine and everything. Then why are so many ticky-tack things happening and keeping people out for 3 games?
Well, here's the deal. In football, a lot of guys get pulled out by the independent neurologist, so they're forced to exit.
That's understandable.
Right. Hockey could cut a guy's head off, and he's still going to go out there and play and not realize that his head is missing until after the game.
In hockey, there was a play where a guy had to get revived on the bench. And they brought him back to life, and he goes, "All right, can I go back in?" Hockey's
a different breed.
They're different breeds.
In baseball, you got guys who look worse than I do. Because you literally don't have to. I'm talking about body wise, not my beautiful, good hair and face and everything. But in baseball,
$1,200 hair.
Exactly.
It's the only good thing I got left going. But in baseball, what do you do in baseball? If you're an outfielder, you stand there 90% of the day, and then when a ball in that time, like a ball might not even get hit to you during that inning.
Right.
Which means you're standing there even more, and you got to play 162 games. Guys are drinking beer in the clubhouse. Starting pitchers aren't even going out; they're drinking and they're playing video games in the locker room. All right, I get it. It's NBA. It's 82 games. Blah blah blah. But some of these guys just aren't tough at all, and I agree with Stan Van Gundy 128%. Like he's so spot on with that. Like 128%, I agree with him because some of these guys, they sit out for whatever reason, and then they're trying to get it to where there's less games in a regular season. Right. Like no, but they'll want less games in a regular season, but then they'll want more money. It doesn't work like that.
And the main argument for less games in a season is so that guys don't rest as much. And it's like, well,
they're going to anyways.
I was like, they didn't rest as much just like 6-7 years ago, and it was the same amount. Like, maybe make the season a little longer so you can keep the same amount of games and just not have back-to-backs.
Like, then they'll bitch because their time in Cabo will get cut short.
True. I know. And your thing about baseball, I barely even count baseball as a sport. I feel like it's more of a hobby because, like, I could see a baseball player on the street and not even think he's an athlete. Like, if I saw, like, CC Sabathia...
Hockey players you can see on the street, and you wouldn't think they're you wouldn't know they're an athlete.
No, but hockey players have a look to them where I'm like, oh, that's a hockey player.
Well, yeah, they'll wear a beanie.
And they'll have, like, the long hair, missing teeth. They got all that kind of stuff. But, like...
Who's widely considered the best baseball player of all time?
Mike Trout.
No.
Is he really?
I'm just talking historical.
He's going to end up being...
hold on. I'm just talking from a historical standpoint. If you go up and ask somebody, like, who's the best baseball player ever, just from name recognition standpoint?
Babe Ruth would probably be the first person that came to most people's minds.
What did he look like?
Not
he
athletic.
Looked like you.
He was smoking cigars mid-game.
The dude died of throat cancer because he couldn't stop smoking.
Exactly. There was a picture the one time
God rest his soul, but...
Yeah, there was a picture the one time of the Angels all wearing basketball uniforms before a game, and 2 of them looked like they were actually in shape. The rest of them all looked like they were just like overweight drinkers that all decided to wear basketball jerseys that day.
if you put Jackie Gleason and Babe Ruth next to each other, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference which one is Babe Ruth and which one. I don't know if you guys know who Jackie Gleason is, but I'm showing my age apparently. But you know,
No,
but
I
then
agree.
you got Pablo Sandoval, who literally
yeah,
had to they had to hire a guy to walk around with him because he couldn't stop eating. But yet he was hitting 310 or whatever the hell he was hitting.
I know. But
Look at Kirby Puckett. Kirby Puckett was like so fat, but for some reason he was amazing. Tony Gwynn wasn't the best. You know, he was never in like fantastic shape. He was chubby. Sabathia was always fat as shit, and you know he just figured out how to lose weight recently. But look at Sabathia, Cy Young, yeah, David Ortiz, fat as shit.
Jim Tomey
They're
was
fine.
always fat. No, but and yeah, that's the thing. You can't look like
John
some
Kruk.
of these. Yep. You can't look like some of these guys in baseball and in any of these other sports. Like, yes, offensive linemen in the NFL just look like big fat guys, but those guys are also benching like 500 pounds. Like, they're pushing extreme amounts of weight because they have to fend off another 300-pound guy coming full speed and trying to hit them out of their way. Baseball guys don't have to do that.
6'7".
As well as that, yes. And so, but to get back to the main point, I also agree that like there has to be something to keep guys healthier. Like they've been coming up with all sorts of ways to work out better so that you're less injury prone. They've been coming up with stretches and everyone's pushing yoga and everything like that to try and keep your body healthy. I mean, but then look at LeBron. The guy spends $1 million on his body every season to make sure he stays healthy. And most of it is diet. And he's playing at, he's 38 now? And he's played some of the best basketball he's played in years after he turned 38. So, like, why can't more players, or teams, rather, have this kind of regimen and stuff for the whole team rather than, like, LeBron just doing it for himself? Because all these teams have the money to do it.
They don't want to do it. Some of these NBA players just love getting coddled.
Oh yeah,
they love it.
Oh,
and agreed. You could say whatever you want about LeBron, but one thing this guy is not durable.
Right.
I mean, this guy is durable. Say what you want about Russell Westbrook. He can't shoot a three. He blah, blah, blah. That dude, but he barely misses. He didn't start missing time really until this season. And he barely missed games.
No, it's true. I mean, and
Dennis is just anti-street clothes.
I hate street clothes because it's unnecessary. You're telling me that when the season started, Kawhi Leonard played 2 games, right? And then all of a sudden he felt something in his knee, and then he was out for about 4 months. Like, all of a sudden you feel something.
He missed like 5 games. So you calm down.
No, he didn't.
No, Kawhi's missed a shit ton of games.
Right. So relax up there.
I meant in the beginning of the season.
Come up there. Punch you in the face.
Yeah, I mean, and then the new thing now is like on the injury reports it says like injury management. Like,
right.
What does that mean? That just means a rest day. That doesn't mean anything. Like, you're not doing anything special to manage the injury. Which is like
try that shit in a regular place of employment. You're working at Target distribution, throwing boxes, and you're like, I can't go today. Injury management. Achilles is bothering me. They'll look at you and go, imagine trying that in high school. I can't go today. Stress management. I'm stressed. I can't go to school.
I have a sore wrist.
People do that now.
Yeah, that's true. But that's what happens when you grow up in a generation of, guys had to worry about if they were going to eat, and, guys had to worry about getting mustard gas, inhaling it in Vietnam and Korea. And now we're wondering how many followers we have on TikTok.
Yeah, times have definitely changed.
Or Discord, whatever the hell that is.
Streaming to Discord. But so to finish things off,
I don't even know what that is still.
Discord is just like it's like Slack, but more geared
I
towards.
hate
like,
Slack.
It's more geared towards like gaming and streaming and things like that, essentially.
I hate Slack too.
Yeah, Slack is one of my least favorite group chat apps. I would agree with that. But anyway, so moving on, instead of just talking about Brooklyn, because we had that topic on here, we'll talk about the Atlantic Division as a whole, because 3 of the 5 Atlantic Division teams are in the top 4 of the East right now. Celtics in first, Sixers in second, Nets in fourth. The Knicks are 1 game back from getting into the playoffs and just skipping the play-in tournament altogether. They're in 7th right now, 1 game back of Miami. The only team not in the play-in or the playoffs is the Raptors right now. But do you think that one of these 3 Atlantic teams, I should say, let's just say take all of them into account, are they the biggest contenders and threats to win the championship than any other Eastern team?
I don't. As of right now, I don't think anyone's beaten. I think it's coming down to Milwaukee, Brooklyn, if KD can come back healthy, and Boston. I don't think anyone has anywhere close to enough to beat them. Cleveland is maybe. I still think they're a year away. Knicks, no. Sixers, no. Heat, no. Yeah, I don't see any team cracking that top 3. Not even the Sixers. The Sixers will choke like they do every postseason. They don't have it. You can't win with that team. That team cannot win.
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to hear your reason why.
Because their style of play does not translate to the postseason.
You tell them, Mike.
2 of the most fouled players in the NBA, James Harden and, they have 2 of the most free throw dependent players in the NBA, in James Harden and Joel Embiid. They don't get the same calls they get in the regular season. They don't get the same calls in the postseason that they do in the regular season.
I mean, I just want to let you know, James Harden isn't even in the top, I don't think he's even in the top 10 for free throws attempted per game this year.
Well, and that's why he's
only attempting 6 free throws.
That's why he's only averaging 21 points a game instead of his normal 28. But
I mean, that's fine. He's leading the league in assists.
Okay, that's great. But Joel Embiid, you can't win with with a center like him. You can get to the conference finals, but you're not beating Brooklyn or Boston or Milwaukee. Embiid will get abused in a series going up against Lopez and Giannis.
Abused
because he won't be able to guard. He won't be able to guard Lopez at the top of the key, anywhere around the perimeter.
What?
He's a shot.
I love watching you dig yourself in a hole. This is great.
Brook Lopez isn't taking him off the dribble. That's not what I mean. But
I know that's not what you mean.
But you're gonna waste Embiid's ability to protect the paint by putting him out in the corner against a 3-point shooter. That's what I'm getting at.
No, you just put PJ Tucker on that guy, and then you let Embiid.
So
be
then, who's Embiid gonna guard? Giannis? He'll get abused.
Yeah.
He'll get abused.
He hasn't gotten abused by Giannis ever.
In a one-game situation, maybe not.
And Giannis historically is terrible at shooting threes, so you don't even have to worry about that.
I didn't realize Embiid was averaging 34 a game. Jesus Christ.
Has what?
I didn't realize Embiid was averaging 34 a game.
Yeah. He's only second to Luka Doncic right now for the scoring title.
I did not realize that. Holy shit.
He's
first right now.
Oh, he passed Luka now?
Yeah.
But I will say Harden is tied with his career best in assists per game back in 2016-17. He averaged 11.2 a game. That's what he's averaging right now. He's also up to 1.3 steals a game, which is one of his highest. His highest being 2 steals a game a little bit ago in Houston. He's also shooting his second highest 3-point percentage in a season. He's also up to almost 45% from the field. So all of his shooting percentages have been amazing, as well as he really hasn't been relying on free throws. And one thing I've always complained about with James Harden, even as a Sixers fan, is he used to, especially last season, complain way too much if he didn't get a call. He wouldn't even go back on defense because he was bitching too much. And he actually hasn't been doing that as much this season, if at all. So Harden has completely changed. Work. I know, but that's fine. That's what he needed to do. He needed to come to a realization that he's not getting the calls he used to. So just play basketball. And to be honest, he's actually done that, which
just hope. I mean, theoretically, every Atlantic team could make the postseason. I just hope they don't, like, the Raptors don't get into a. So you've been hearing rumblings about them blowing it up, and so you don't need to blow that team up. That team is well constructed. If anything, you got to add to it. You got to add a little bit more to it. You know, right. Like go out and get in. For the life of me, I can't understand why Eric Gordon is still sitting on the Rockets. Why he hasn't been moved somewhere? Why isn't he going to Philadelphia? Why isn't he going to Toronto? Why isn't he going to LA? Like, why is Bogdanovich still in Detroit? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Did you say Eric Gordon?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's because the Rockets said they want a first-round pick for him.
Well, if you're a contender, that's a late first round. Who cares?
Yeah, but it's Eric Gordon.
But if he's going to help you win a championship.
True. I mean, yeah, a lot of the contending teams will offer up their late first-round pick for whatever. They've definitely traded first-round picks for worse. You could also even probably trade like a protected one for all they care.
I mean, look at the Raptors bench. Like, they have a good starting lineup. I mean, the Raptors can theoretically they might put out like Precious, Siakam, Gary Trent, Barnes, and Van Vliet, like somewhere, that type of thing. But why not add a Bogdanovich to play off the bench, or why not add a decent backup point guard? Like, and I'm not just like Delano Banton, Malachi Flynn. I mean, they got Otto Porter, that didn't work out. So they desperately need a bench piece. Coaching is not the best. I'm not convinced that Nick Nurse is the right coach for that team anymore. I think he's going to be one of the coaches at the end of the season who's going to be on the chopping block.
He's turned into Tibbs.
He really is. If Tibbs doesn't get his act together, like if the Knicks fall short of making the postseason, Tibbs is gone. Dwayne Casey, he's already going to be gone. Steve Clifford's going to be gone. So there has to be, Billy Donovan, I could see him leaving, and I don't know how I got on coaches that I think are going to get fired, but I'm just throwing it out there because I'm on a roll. Right. But but the Raptors, they don't need to blow it up. They need to add. They could compete easily.
No, yeah, they definitely could, and I think out of the top 4 seeds right now, I think are the contenders of the East. I don't think anyone else are true championship contenders. I agree with Mike in the fact that I think Cleveland is 1 year away. I think next year would really be their year, especially because they could retool some things on the bench. They could trade away Osman and get, somebody. They could upgrade from him. They could upgrade from Okoro. They could upgrade from a few of those guys from the bench. I mean, Kevin Love is decent to have just for leadership and veteran and that presence coming off the bench, but I think they do have an ability to upgrade.
I know. I strongly disagree. I think the Cavs at the start of the season, they were playing well. Right? Donovan Mitchell's been out a little bit. They just got Ricky Rubio back. He's working his way back up. Evan Mobley's been playing fantastic lately. They got Jaron Allen. They got Kevin Love off the bench, like you said. LeVert, in his normal role, he should be coming off the bench. Dean Wade's still out. He's not the best, but he adds a little something. they're not like going to win a championship, but I don't see a reason why that team. I mean, if you look at the Grizzlies, the Grizzlies are the top of the Western Conference. Their roster is not as good as the Cavs is. Who do the Grizzlies have outside of John Morant and Desmond Bain?
No, I mean, I think they match up well with the Grizzlies, but their thing is they're going to have to go through the East, and I don't know if I see them winning a 7-game series over Milwaukee, Boston, Brooklyn, or Philly.
I mean, can you trust the Bucks right now? Giannis just missed 5 games with a left knee soreness. Middleton finally is back, but who knows how long that's going to stay. Drew Holiday, who knows what the hell's going on with him? Grayson Allen, Connaughton, Ingles, yes, they're very good constructed team. Bobby Portis, thank God he's on there, because if they didn't have Bobby Portis, they would be, a train wreck. The Nets still are positioned to be the best team in the East. I think they have the most depth. I think they have plenty of depth. They got, they can have TJ Warren come off the bench. And one of their guys that they don't even play, Cam Thomas. If Cam Thomas got playing time elsewhere, he would be a solid contributor.
True.
So, the Nets still, I think, are my favorite. Once Durant, I think Durant, okay. I don't think Durant is really that injured. I just think they're just, with this recent road trip that they had, look at their road trip that they had.
He just needed a break. His knee got rolled into.
Can you let me finish before you interrupt me?
It was the stupidest thing I've ever heard you say.
Well, you didn't let me finish, but you've said plenty of stupid things. All right. I'm saying Kevin Durant is hurt, but he's not that hurt. I think he could theoretically come back sooner. However, when you look at that road trip that they just had, San Antonio, a struggling Phoenix team, a struggling Warriors team, Utah, who's not as good as they were in the beginning of the season. So you had a nice little stretch there. If you were going to lose Durant, that was the time to do it. So, right. And if you don't have to rush Durant back. So, yeah.
Apparently Jason Tatum just got hurt.
Shocking.
Now?
Yeah.
What happened? Shoulder?
That's
he's
got that shoulder thing.
True.
And Jonathan Isaac got hurt.
No, he didn't.
Are you serious? I was about to say.
You idiot.
I was like, damn, first came back?
No, he just fouled some guy randomly. Like, he fouled Gary Harris. Literally checked himself out of the game and walked straight to the locker room.
Who did?
Tatum.
JT.
It's his shoulder.
Probably. Either that or he just rolled his ankle or something, probably.
Or that nagging wrist soreness he's been dealing with. That wrist soreness that just popped up out of nowhere and all of a sudden you have to take a day off.
Guys know where wrist soreness comes from.
Yes.
All right, well, with that one, I'm logging off.
If anyone's seen the clip we posted, we all know where wrist soreness comes from. Every state has their category that it comes from.
I was talking to somebody about that. It was so analytical, the breakdown of everything. I wonder what Mike is into. What are you into, Mike?
What's your top 3, Mike? That's the what you got this week.
No, all right, goodbye.
I'm going to say stepmom.
That's definitely one
stepmom. Yeah, stepmoms. Mike is also into
stepsister,
like S&M, stepsister, Jewish singles.
I'm not listening to this.
Hebrew hammers. That's his top search term.
All right, good night.
Anyway, but yeah, no, I think that I still don't see the Cavs beating those top 4 teams in a 7-game series. Do I think that's going to be a close series? Yes. But even everyone healthy for both sides, I just don't right now see them taking down one of those teams. I think especially because I really like Garland, but there's been some games, especially when Donovan Mitchell's healthy, that Garland has seemed to just disappear. His catch and shoot and his playing off ball of Donovan Mitchell isn't like his best maximized skill set, especially because Cleveland obviously figured that out when they traded away Colin Sexton because they knew Garland was the better of the two, and they knew Garland was better as the ball dominant guard. And obviously Donovan Mitchell is a very ball dominant guard as well. So I think, just figuring that out, figuring out how to maximize both of them together at the same time, as well as get everybody involved. And I would just say adding a quality two-way wing would be the best move they could make if they make one right before the trade deadline. Somebody like a Mikal Bridges type of wing, I think would push them way over the top as a championship contender. But right now, Donovan Mitchell, obviously their big star power right now. Darius Garland and Evan Mobley are going to be their next star for, like the big two, big three kind of build that most of these teams have. But right now, I don't see Garland as a bigger star than the other stars that they would have to go up against. So that's just why right now the top four to me are the contenders from the East. But I do think, right now, I think the East is still stronger than the West. I mean, you look at the East and it's very tight going from first all the way down to fifth with Cleveland. In the West, it's like the Nuggets and the Grizzlies are the top two by 5 games. And then the Kings are after them. And then it gets to the Pelicans, who are sinking pretty quickly. And then after that, it gets down to, I want to say it was then it gets down to Dallas at 5th, and they're 25 and 23. So, it starts getting down to some pretty bad records quickly in the West, because then it gets to the Clippers, who the hell knows what's going on there with Paul George and Kawhi missing so many games. Phoenix is right after them at 7th with Devin Booker still out, Chris Paul in and out, DeAndre Ayton in and out. Never know what's going on with them. Timberwolves, Cat still out. Rudy Gobert is now missing time. That team just seems like a train wreck. The Utah Jazz, who were playing really well in the beginning of the season, are finally regressing to the mean. They're down at 9th at 24 and 25. Golden State's finally getting healthier, but we haven't seen them hit their stride yet. And then it gets to the Thunder, the Lakers. The Blazers sunk real fast. I'm pretty sure one of our last 2 or 3 episodes, we were talking about the Blazers because they were in the top 5 of the West. They're now 13th at 21 and 25. And then you get to the Spurs and Rockets, and everyone knows they're not competing for anything. So I do think the East is the better of the two divisions, and Cleveland is having to compete with that, and that's the only reason why I don't have them as a real championship contender. If the Cavs were in the West, I would say they'd be the number 1 seed and they'd be making the finals.
Did you know the top category in Ohio's PMV?
What does that even mean?
I just looked it up. Porn music videos. I'd never even heard of such a thing.
What?
In Ohio.
Ohio's a weird-ass place.
Oh, don't worry. Indiana is furry.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
All right. With that, I'm signing off.
You know what the top category is in
What?
2022? Hentai. Whatever that is. Is that cartoons?
God. I think so. There probably is.
So that would explain what's going on with the Cavs.
Cavs are watching too much furries and porn music videos.
Well, that's Indiana's with the furries.
True.
And I think I saw West Virginia smoking. They're in the girls who smoke.
Oh, God.
Whatever that means.
That sounds about right for West Virginia, though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So my what you got this week is not basketball related. It is if you could only pick one for the rest of your life,
Oh, God, don't do this.
would you pick
Pizza.
Chinese buffet, Rita's, or an endless supply of one type of dessert for the rest of your life? Because obviously Rita's has an array of desserts. You can get custard, you can get water ice, blah,
Ice,
blah, blah, blah.
custard, happiness. Dennis's
Exactly.
motto. Oh, no, I would take an unlimited supply of molten lava or volcano or whatever the fuck they're called. Lava cakes. Chocolate lava cakes. With a little ice cream on top, a little vanilla ice cream, and a little whipped cream.
No, you don't get the ice cream. You only get the cake.
No, but it's a dessert. You can't
No, you only get the one thing. You only get the one thing.
That comes together.
Not at Domino's, because we sold molten lava
That's
cakes.
that's different.
It's the same molten lava cake.
No, you go to a restaurant, they give you a little lava cake, a little vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You could go to Chinese buffet. They have vanilla ice cream there.
No, but I want the
That's
lava
true.
cake. It's the combination of the hot and the cold.
Well, what do you want? Sesame chicken or a lava cake?
Alex, you better have lava cakes at your wedding.
There are no lava cakes at the wedding.
What are you talking about?
What kind of fucking wedding is it?
I can tell you that right now.
Are
There's
there
no
chicken
lava
tenders?
cakes. No.
Dennis,
French fries.
we're not going.
Some nice filet mignons.
Is
Yeah, I
there?
had the filet mignon there already. I want to try something else.
There's some nice roasted salmon with a really good glaze.
I don't
Yeah.
eat food that came out of the water.
What?
I like my food on land.
Now you sound like a get off my lawn type of guy.
But what do you mean there's no lava cakes and no chicken fingers?
I'm letting you know now.
Don't worry. When I do my best man speech, I'm going to make a joke about it. I will say, I don't know if anybody could see, but I have I had a blue spot on there because I was eating Luigi's blue Italian ice before.
That's very on
Rita?
brand.
You're cheating on Rita?
Hey, it's, I like, but you want to know something? They for one, I didn't get the hat, and I did what they said. I said tag. They said tag two people. I tagged both of you, and where's my hat?
True. True. And Rita's is closed in the winter, so it's a bit of an issue.
I'm rolling with Chinese buffet.
All right.
I honestly think I have to agree with Chinese buffet. That you get the whole, like, you get such a wide array of everything, and for some reason Chinese buffet vanilla ice cream is the best vanilla ice cream you're gonna get.
It's tits.
It's better than like an actual ice cream parlor vanilla ice cream, which makes zero sense.
Yeah, but when I see the Rita's thing on Instagram, they're always pouring it in there. They're like, "Here's our new thing," and they're pouring it, and then tell you, rock hard. They want to talk about a category, Rita's. That's my category.
Oh God, why do I have a feeling that you're gonna search it just because you're gonna be curious next time?
Oh, there's something. I guarantee you, there's something out there.
There's something for everything. So.
I saw a thing with a popsicle one time. You want me to get into it even more?
No. On that note, unless you guys have anything else to get off your chest, I think
Cavs.
that's it for us.
Peace.
But that's it for us. Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening to another episode of The Atlantic Files, the #1 podcast on the #1 division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. We're on YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, Apple, everywhere. Make sure you share with a friend, rate, subscribe, review. It helps us out, everything. Thank you, everybody, and we will catch you guys next week. Peace.